Hey guys, it's July 1st, and in the state of Florida, as you know, so many new laws take effect. The most important one for you to know as a realtor is going to affect our condominiums, the name of the game this year, right? So the condominium rider has been completely changed to reflect the new laws as of July 1st. It is in app files, it is in Form Simplicity. So please be aware of it and take a look at all the changes in there. The most important thing that I want you to remember, and it's a working day so you can see how we're dressed for this. So Condo 4.0, it increases the cancellation period for the buyers. In the past, it was 3 days, right? Just 3 calendar days to review the documents and decide if they wanted to move forward with the purchase. Well, now it has increased to 7 days, not calendar days, but 7 business days for everyone to review all the documents and make the decision whether to cancel or move forward. The reasoning behind that is now they have expanded the information that has to be given to the buyer so that they can make a much more informed decision. It adds all of the financial documents into the year-end financials, and that the buyer is entitled to review. What is going to make it a little bit better is part of that law is for the associations as well. They have to have everything online in a website for everyone to have access to. That's going to be great for you as a realtor when you're listing, great for you as a realtor when you're buying, and it's absolutely great for all of our owners and things like that as well. When you pull up the condominium rider, and it's all 5 pages, you will look that they reworked the entire section of 3. I'm not going to go through this whole thing with all the little tiny things today. I want you to just be aware of the stuff that you need to know when you're out in the field selling today. So 3 has been completely reworked to make it better. So 3C talks about special assessments, and that seems to have been a bone of contention for everything as we do it. It has in there about fines. If there's any fines, the seller is going to pay all the fines imposed as of the closing date and remedy open any open violations of rules and regulations that they might have. That's really new. That's kind of cool. Makes it cleaned up on the seller's side. The special assessments, which are 3C, a lot of it is the same. If there's any special or additional assessments as of effective date, it allows us to pick who's going to pay them. It's now in bold, so everybody gets it. If the condominium levies any special or additional assessments after the effective date and prior to the closing date, that's 3C2, then who pays those assessments? It's pulling it out, making sure everyone is aware of what those assessments are and how they're going to be handled. 3C3, notwithstanding the provisions of blah, 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 blah. It has, if the seller is going to pay the installments, it's all in big, bold lettering again. Then if the seller is checked or the condominium association does not allow the buyer to assume assessments scheduled to be paid after closing, which comes up all the time, right? Then the seller shall pay the special or additional assessment in full prior to or at the time of closing. That's huge because there are assessments that are hanging out there that the seller has been paying. And just like in Cape Coral, where there's utility assessments, they are looking for the buyer to assume that. The condo associations may not allow that. And also keep in mind, if there is going to be a mortgage, often the lenders aren't going to allow that to be done as well. So it's spelling it out more clearly. This is all about better transparency and more informed buyers knowing what they're getting into when they're purchasing it. So make sure you take a look at that as well. What else has been reworked in there? And I do apologize because I sat through the webinar yesterday and I'm just kind of going through it. And 6B was also reworked, and 6B, which is on page 3, those are about the request for the documents. This is cleaned up and it's marvelous. It really is super nice because now it's seller at seller's expense, provide the buyer with a current copy of. And instead of just lining it all out, it has it in a nice checklist form. minutes of the condominium association, agendas for the condominium association board meetings, minutes of the condo association meetings. This is all the stuff that's now been expanded in that the buyers are going to need to know so that they can review to see if there's any assessments or if there's things coming along like from the milestone inspections and all of that kind of stuff. That has been laid out in a much better fashion, but it also covers more things. Um, we don't sell too many real tall buildings here too often, but Naples has a lot of them. If you look at um, in there also, it talks about verbal subdivisions. There's no right of cancellation on stuff. Really take a look at this and read this. There's little tiny nuances, but the big things you have to take away today is the buyers now have 7 business days to cancel and review all those documents, which have now been expanded to include minutes of the meetings, all of the year end, all of those financials. All of that is now going to be in there, so they have 7 business days to review it. And also pay attention to any special assessments, how any balance is going to be handled with that. Those are really your 2 big takeaways from here. What I am going to suggest to you, when the buyers receive the documents, we in the past there was a little checkbox on the rider, gone, or we've just taken the proof from an email, etc. What I want you to start doing is using the receipt for condominium documents, which is a 1-page document that the board, that FR has put together, short and sweet, and it simply says that they've received it. That's what I want you to take away. And one other really big takeaway, and this is going to talk about condos and homeowners associations. And this seems to be a big gray area as well. If you are in a condominium that is part of a homeowners association and maybe part of another homeowners association, which writers do you need? Condominium document, homeowners writers, how many of those do you need, and all of that? It's expanded it out in wording. So if the property is part of a master or other homeowners association, then the seller shall complete rider B for each condominium rider for each condominium association. So you may be doing multiple riders on these things. So when you are getting into the sales end of it, pay attention to all the layers of the associations. If you're on the listing side, again, pay attention to all the little layers. Get on to the association's website, which, because now by law, they have to have all those documents there. Do your homework early so that you can be an effective salesperson. Know the law. It's effective as of July 1st. 7 business days to cancel. All the reworking of the new condominium rider, use that and you will find it in all the appropriate places. And use the FR receipt for condominium documents whenever you are involved in that. If you're on the seller side, make sure that you get that from the buyer. And if you're the buyer, buyer side, make sure you get the buyer to sign it. Great CYA form for everybody. And as we like to say at Jones & Company Realty, we got cute little butts. So we want to cover them really, really nicely. I hope you and your family have a fantastic July 4th and celebrate our company's independence and the right to home ownership. As always, peace out.